In this segment, we're going to hang a set of 4 pictures that are all the same size. This would also apply to hanging 6 pictures, 8 pictures, any number of pictures that are all the same size. But we'll start with 4, and you can see how to measure them. I've started out by putting Post-its on the wall, just randomly and approximately the right place, just because it's easier to make notes on the wall, and then you don't have to look for them. And then I've placed the pictures on the floor. In this case, I want to do 3 inches between them, so I'm going to adjust them so that there's 3 inches in between, more or less. So from left to right, we're going to do the same rule where the left-hand side of the picture to the left-hand side of the other picture is 18 3/4 of an inch. So that'll give us 3 inches between. I'm just going to make a note of that on the top Post-it here, 18 3/4, with a little arrow. Now, top to bottom, we have the same situation, except we go from the top of this picture to the top of that picture, and that gives us 11 inches. So we want to make a note of the 11 inches, and then I just make an arrow that way so I don't get confused later. Now the height of the pictures, if we go by the 6-foot rule, 6 feet would be right here in the center. So that would be 1.5 inches below the top picture. So if you just put your tape measure on 1.5 inches and measure to the top, you get 9 1/4 inches. Now you have to add that to your 60 inches. So then you get 69 1/4 to the floor. So that is right about on the edge of that Post-it tape. And as far as the measurement on the center, you have to figure out where on the wall, if you want to center it on the wall or cheat it in a little bit from the corner. But we can mark that after we move the pictures out of the way. I'm going to move these out of the way so we can work on the wall without them being underfoot. And just keep them in the order that we have them. Measure this wall from the door over to the corner. So half of that is 39 inches, and we might as well just mark the top row, which is 2 1/4 from the top of that. So we're at 2 1/4. That's the middle of the row where the hooks go, 39 inches. As you notice, we had marked before 11 inches, which is the distance between the top row of nails and the bottom row of nails. So now we want to go to here, which is where the top row of nails is, and measure down 11 inches. Put a mark. We can either use a level or measure to the wall to 39 inches, which is the center point of the bottom row. And then our other Post-it has 18 3/4 of an inch on it, and that was the point center to center of the pictures. So you want to take your tape measure. 9 3/8 would be halfway between 18 3/4. And at this point, I like to use the Post-its because it's easier to find later. So I'm going to put them approximately in the right place. Nine 3/8. 9 3/8. And then just to double check, that's 18 3/4. It's always better to measure twice before you put your nails in. Now we have our bottom row. It's the same thing, 9 3/8 and 9 3/8, and that would give us 18 3/4. Now you want to take your level and mark. You want to watch out for that little bubble until it's perfectly centered between the 2 lines. Put a pencil mark there and a pencil mark there. With the Post-it, you can make a nice big mark that you can find easily. Now we're doing our bottom row, same thing. Just mark it there and mark it there. Now this was, you put a little circle even if you want to. So that's the center of each of your pictures. Now again, as we did before, we use this level to get our wire height. So now we can just put that on the center mark and put an X at each end. And finally the fourth one. I'm going to leave the Post-its up until I get my nails in. Again, putting your hook lined up with the mark. This is the last nail going in. And then if we measured correctly, they should go up perfectly. So now I'm going to take the pictures. You can take your Post-its down at this point, maybe leave the metal ones just in case. Let's start with the top left. Again, these nails are spread out quite far because they're very horizontal pictures and I wanted to make sure they didn't move too much. Don't worry about leveling them at this point because we'll do that. We'll fine tune them later. You can get them more or less right. These also have little bumpers on the bottom, which helps to keep them level. And the wire it's a rubberized wire so that it doesn't slip on the nails the way regular wire does. And now for the last one. And we're good. Now you want to take your level. So that's good. You could also use your short level at this point, sometimes easier. Now this side is a little bit lower than this side, so you can just give it a little gentle tug. Until the bubble's in the middle, and that'll straighten that up. Level this one back up. The fine tuning at the end is time consuming, but since they're on two hooks, you won't have to do this very often. Check that one again. Give that a little tug. You don't want to tug too hard because you don't want it to accidentally have it let go of it. And this has to come over just a smidge that way. So let's get these off. So as you can see, we were able to successfully hang 4 pictures perfectly level. They will stay that way now because there's 2 hooks on each one. If you were to hang 3 or 4 in a row, you just use the same principle with center to center, center to center, center to center, down to the bottom one, and measure to either side of the center points because it's a lot easier to find your center points on each set of nails than it is to measure the nails individually. So good luck. It's not as hard as it looks, and it's well worth it. It's a beautiful result.